And here we go. We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be normal.
RCPA chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger, with planet.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside FD off. Bring in FD off. It's orange!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage.
What is it?
Put that in the big bag,
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. Keep that. We don't need any more of these.
Well, good evening, everyone, from literally the side of the road down here in Boca Chica, Texas. You're looking at a live view of something that might not seem that significant, but in the long run, this is going to be a major, major step in the Starship program. We are here covering the first ever rollout of one of the steel water deluge plates that are going to be installed underneath the orbital launch pad down here in Starbase, Texas. So very, very big moment for the future of the Starship program. Hopefully this will save the pad from any further destruction like we saw in the first flight, but first, we got to get it to the pad, and that's what we're looking at right here. You can see a live view of the pad on the right and a live view of the steel plate there on the left. Now, we're going to talk more about what this means, why this is important, and what exactly we're even covering tonight. But first, we have a few very talented people here on the stream with me tonight. So first off, we have Adrian Bile. Adrian, how are we doing tonight?
It's a bit late for me. It's
I was about to say, this
just,
morning?
just past 4 a.m. here in Germany. So perfect time to do some rollout commentary in Starbase. But besides that, I always love me some Starbase action. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeesh. Well, hopefully we don't stay long enough to see the sunrise, but that's going to be dependent on what SpaceX rolls here. Also, with our European folks here, we have Ryan Caton. You know him, you love him from all the featured videos and live streams that he's been on. Ryan, how are we doing? I guess this morning for you too?
Yeah, wonderful. Bright and early, 3 o'clock in the morning. What more could you like than seeing some steel roll out of a tent in a remote village in Texas? I mean, this is the life. I am of course kidding. This is a very momentous day for the upgrade of Stage 0 that we've all been longing for so much time. Hopefully to put an end to the concrete tornado, as Das put it, that we saw after the first flight of Booster 7 and Ship 24. So yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. These are going to be some very serious upgrades compared to what the pad was during the previous launch that hopefully, like you said, are going to prevent this insane amount of damage that we saw on the first orbital launch. So if you've been on the stream before, you know the drill. If not, this is a very interactive stream. We like to hear your questions, comments, things. Ask us about what you're looking at on the screen. Anything SpaceX related, Starship related, Boca Chica, Starbase related. We love to make this kind of a conversation, especially with more laid back streams like this. So be sure to ask your question in chat with @NASASpaceflight. Be sure you have that in your comics. It makes it much, much easier for us to spot and gives it a higher chance of being seen. So first, let's just dive right into what we're looking at in general here tonight. So, Adrian, do you want to give us kind of an overview about what is this steel plate? Why is this big? It's just a steel plate, right? Is this significant at all?
Oh yeah, it is. As you know, during the first orbital launch, they had some issues with suppressing the energy of the Super Heavy booster because apparently it produces a lot of energies to fire 33 Raptor engines. What they want to do here right now is install a new system to suppress this energy, which is the steel plate you're seeing there in front of you. You can see it's laying on the SPMTs. You can see some of the openings where they will pump water through it. And basically what it does, it will be fed with water, and the water will be then going upwards to try to counteract the energy of the Raptor engines. So this is their new approach. We already saw testing videos of that in McGregor, Texas, where they test their Raptor engines, and they already fired a Raptor engine at a steel plate. And also, I believe we have an SPMT running there, or at least it looks like that. And yeah, basically what they will do today is they will roll out this plate, not only this plate, but also a transport stand, or like a install stand, I should probably say, that is next to it, because it looks like there will be 2 parts that roll out today. And just to point out as well, we do not believe they will start to right away install it. That will probably take a bit of time. But we wanted to catch some details here about it. We want to see if we could see something that we haven't seen before. Want to see how big this is, like how much of this plate is the full one. Basically everything we can here. We want to see it. And there you can see, by the way, the transport stand. That looks like a few trees on the right side of the road. That's it probably will function as some sort of installment stand where they can put it on and move it under the OLM. So this is what we are looking for today. And it looks like, since we are now in the window between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m., that they might just start moving this thing very, very soon.
Yeah, and the truck that Kevin just zoomed in on there in the background. Actually, I forgot to mention, Kevin is in the background here, pushing the buttons, pulling the levers, and controlling the robots today, as far as I know. So big shout out to Kevin there. This is a fully automated stream. Again, huge props to the team for making streams like these possible. So the truck that you're looking at there on the screen with all the blinky, flashy lights, it looks like something pretty serious. That is the lead truck. So that's going to be a good indicator when rollout is imminent, when that truck pulls away and starts going down the road away from the camera. So right now that's just parked, showing that they're not quite ready for rollout, but it's coming up pretty soon. So big thing to keep an eye out on is that truck. Once that rolls, we know we're in for a treat. Jumping right into questions real quick here. Adam J here asking, how heavy do you think this piece is? They're guessing around 15 tons. So Ryan, do we have like an estimate or any known numbers on how heavy this piece is? Or are we going to have to wait and see if there's just a sticker slapped on the side saying X tons?
I think this may just be kind of like everything is down there, to be honest. This may just be an educated guessing game as soon as we get to see it, because you have to remember, the only angle we've seen so far is a side-on view in a tent. We've had renders from different artists on the internet. We've had ideas being thrown around, but we haven't seen it. It's not been installed yet, right? We haven't seen anything definitive. We haven't seen the Deluge system under the pad. So until we actually see all of the hardware in the flesh being rolled out and being installed, it's going to be hard to make an estimate. I'm not sure if they'll have left any stickers on it, but I'm sure we'll have people much smarter than I am who are able to evaluate, okay, so there's probably about this much steel in this much space with this much density, so that means it's probably weighing around this many kilos. Someone's probably going to be doing that mathematics tonight, but I'm not. I'm going to be talking.
I think it's a rough estimate is pretty heavy, given the size of it, given that it's steel, and that they need to roll it out.
They've got it on 2 SPMTs. These are huge machines. You wouldn't have like 10 men just pick it up and lift it down Highway 4. You need some heavy machinery to get this to the pad.
This is something you cannot just plop onto like a semi-truck trailer and drive out. This is, not only is it a large load, so you need 2 just straight up for the size of it, but the weight of this too. This is very, very, very thick steel, and it needs to be thick to withstand all the forces from those engines. It's a very dynamic environment underneath the orbital pad during launch. So this has got to be pretty busy and pretty beefed up down here. Speaking of beefed up and high pressure, F14 here is asking, do we know what pressure the Deluge system will be at? I don't think we know an exact number, but I kind of want to reframe this question. So Adrian, do we know how this Deluge system will work? Are they going to use a water tower or some other system to get the water under here at high pressures?
Yeah, they will use their water on-site system. To my knowledge, they pressurize it with nitrogen. Basically have like a water-nitrogen mix to pressurize it and pump it faster. But they won't use like a classic high-level water tower. That's at least not what we have seen. We have not. I think the only water tower I'm aware that is in Boca Chica right now is Starhopper. So there's that. But basically, it will just work with like high-pressure force that will just push the water and the nitrogen into the plate using these pipes that you can see there, and then we'll push it upwards to give it the energy it needs.
Yeah, and do we know, Ryan, I'm going to toss this one to you. Do we know if they're using new tanks, or are they using the existing water tank that's part of kind of the 8-tank orbital tank farm kind of thing. One of the tall vertical tanks. I know one of those is a water tower. Are they using one of those? Do you know, or is it not really known yet?
Personally, I'm not sure if that water tank is going to be included into the Deluge system. We have 4 like cylindrical tanks on the kind of
Oh, Ryan,
think-
sounds like we're
yeah,
losing
Ryan
you
has
a
some-
little bit there.
from the south, kind of over to the left there as well.
Yep, sounds like we got a little internet issue on Ryan's end, so we're going to try to get that fixed real quick. I'm going to jump into the
Yeah.
next question right now, though. While we're waiting for the rollout, kind of a little slightly off topic, but going back to Florida, we've seen they're still working on the Starship pad in Florida. Adrian, have we seen like any indication when they're going to start doing Starship testing in Florida, or is that just kind of completely up in the air right now?
Yeah, it's a bit of a wild card. We have seen, based on our flyovers, that it seems like activity has come to a halt there, which most likely is related to the fact that they're right now doing major modifications in Boca Chica. And if you modificate here, you probably want to wait until the dust settles before you then apply similar modifications to the Cape. So that seems to be the situation right now. They're not really pushing full steam ahead there anymore. And again, I think that makes sense based on what we know. So we'll see how that develops. But no, as of now, I wouldn't say we have a good indication when they will start Starship testing. If I go with my personal feeling based on timelines we have like seen so far, and like also when they need it, we are probably in a 2024 area. I do not think there will be any Starship testing this year at the Cape.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you, Adrian, for that answer. And a real quick question here, coming from a guy named Jack Bier. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your last name, Jack. But saying, what's your favorite kind of bacon? Adrian, I'm going to toss that one to you real quick.
Okay, yeah. This is the moment where I hope Jack doesn't listen to this right now. But I'm not really a bacon guy. I like eggs at breakfast. Yeah. I'm sorry. This is the moment where I just hope he's not listening.
I hoping there's no one near Jack because he's going to be screaming right now, I think. But personally, I like some nice applewood smoked bacon. So, all right, we're going to move real quickly on from that question before any friendships get any more derailed. Moving on to the next question. So, Silly Cyben, this is more of an opinion piece, and Ryan, I believe we have you back right now, so I'm going to toss this to you. And they're asking, do you think this is the most significant piece of hardware we've seen roll out so far for the pad?
I wouldn't say it's the most significant. I'd say everything's significant because you can't stack a vehicle without an orbital launch ring. You need the pillars to hold it up. You need the concrete for the foundations, right? I don't think there's anything that's definitively the most significant piece, but added all together as a combined system, it is extremely significant for the launch. It is. You can't launch without it. You can't launch without any of these single little pieces. Of course, Starship or Integrated Flight Test 1 showcased that you could launch without a water deluge system. You just wouldn't have a reusable pad afterwards. But these are all critical pieces that So I'm not going to pinpoint say this is the most significant part. It's all significant because they all work together. Teamwork for the orbital launch, man. It's just the reality of it.
Yeah, and real quick, Ryan, we just had a $300 super chat from Stabby Unicorn come through. And all they said was simply, thank you for all your coverage.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Thank you so much.
That is a very, very, very appreciated contribution. I mean, I'm getting deja vu from the Static Fire stream the other day. But seriously, we haven't seen anything move yet, and we're already getting so much support. Seriously, it is
absolutely.
It is incredibly appreciated.
A phenomenal amount. I genuinely appreciate that. Is extremely generous from you, and on a stream just like this, that just shows. I don't know. That is so. Thank you so much for all of that. That is insane. So Stabby Unicorn, $300 super chat, unbelievable. Thank you so much for that. And we had some other support here from some other people during the earlier parts of the stream. Michael Stevens has become a Capcom member. So, Michael, enjoy your access to the community Discord. There's a lot of great features that come along with there, and a lot of chaotic conversations. Some bacon chats that we discussed earlier happen there. I'd say make sure that you like bacon before you go in there. I think our back channel right now is kind of showing that you need to like bacon to work at NSF.
Not really. I want to point out that there has been some endorsements for my claim, but there also has been significant pushback from a person named Jack, that and also Max.
I mean, the
both
first thing I saw. Go ahead. I'll say the first thing I saw on that channel.
Negatives.
Sorry, we keep talking over each other, Adrian. You go.
I'm done. You're done.
Okay. But yeah, I just saw suddenly Jack saying "Common Adrian L," and I knew something really went down. But thank you, Michael, for that. Nicholas Stansbury with a $50 super chat. Thank you so much, Nicholas. That is genuinely appreciated as well, making a huge, very generous contribution there. And zooming out real quick, we have not only the pickup truck backing up, seeming to be ready to get in position to drive down the highway, but also a police car. I don't know if that's officially Brownsville Police or if that's like a SpaceX security car, but looks like things are getting into place now for the rollout. Again, we're going to keep an eye out, on the two gentlemen there in center, one of which
Here we go. It's going. It's
There
going.
we go.
Woohoo!
There we go. Cameron
I was
County
gonna
Sheriff
say-
leading the way.
Yeah.
So
from
now
my
it's the
very
interesting moment
obscured-
because this is like the really interesting moment because we can now get a really like a close up while it's driving by
Yes.
if we are lucky.
So we're going to keep an eye out for any labels, any big indicators like that. Oh, look at those. Look
Are
at the
they
two guys
sitting
up
on
there.
the steel plate?
Oh, man. What I would give to
This
be...
is brilliant. They've got the best job in the world. Look at that.
It's
They're surfing
features.
on the steel plate. They're
Don't worry,
surfing
guys.
on the SPMT.
I'll check the clearances up here. I'll make sure you don't hit anything.
That's
You don't have to worry about
hilarious.
height.
Great.
This is brilliant. Oh my god.
Well-
This is incredible.
All right, I'm dropping out of engineering school. I want to be whatever this is.
Yeah, what's the job? What's the job
This is-
they're getting?
Look,
Do you think it was a job
just-
posting saying SPMT?
He's just on his phone.
He's
Are
probably
they
like on-
Sorry, I've
Are
lost
they,
it.
uh,
I've lost it.
Are they
Ooh.
like a weight for making
Oh,
it sail?
counterweight.
I think you
Alright,
can
but
see the
run to
cutouts
the
there
left.
for the OLM legs, by the way. That's the
Yes.
the shape there. That's a cutout for where if in the later parts there will be a leg, and also these giant openings there. That's for water. So
Yeah, so that is the water input, basically. Again, we don't know the exact setup that these are going to have, the exact way water is going to flow in. I would assume those holes on the side there we're seeing is where water is going to come in. You're going to need a high
Yeah.
flow rate of water, so all of those openings there are going to come in use there.
I'm looking
again,
at
the-
here. I'm trying to get a quick scale. It looks as if those holes were probably about the size of the guys on top's heads. So if you get an
Yeah.
average head size, that's probably I'd say probably a foot. What's that? 30 centimeters in
about-
diameter. That's kind of the scale that we're looking at here, roughly.
I would say about dinner plate sized. It is a nice
Yeah.
kind of approximation.
also you can basically assume that this is like the full plate, right? Because we see multiple OLM leg cutouts.
Yeah,
Or
and
at least the
Hmm.
the main part that's going to be sitting like directly under the booster.
yes, this
Yeah.
is like kind of the one that's be taking the big brunt of the impact. I would assume this one is going to have like the thickest. Ooh, there we go. You can see some internal structure there. Again, there's probably going to be a lot of internal structure on the inside of here because if you think about it, and take a look there. If you look right next,
Is there a brake like attached to the plate?
I
if you
think
take a
it's
look,
just a beacon.
I think it is just like a little indicator, like, hey, watch your head. But if you look to the left of the thing that red light is hanging on, look how thick that steel is. That has to be, was it 5 centimeter thick steel? Maybe like close 5 to 10 centimeter thick steel. That's incredibly thick steel. But with all the force that you're getting here from the booster as it's lifting off, you need all of that strength, or else this thing is going to just collapse like a sandwich. Not even
Look
the
at
water pressure
that.
can hold it up in that case.
Look at that right, like these internal structures, these almost like grid-like frames. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Wow.
I'm still focusing on the guys that are sat on top. I don't care about any of this internal shenanigans. That's your job, Adrian. I'm just looking at the 4 guys just surfing on the SPMTs. That's just incredible.
Just
I was
me
going
and
to
the
make it all
boys
the way
out
down
for
to the pad.
just doing a Friday night drive.
Yeah, having a drink.
Oh, that'd be great.
It's certainly very cool.
That's very
I wonder if there
enviable,
was
for sure.
was there like an internal SpaceX bet and like the winner gets to surf on the SPMT for this night, or what's happening here?
Oh, that's great.
Oh, you can see the holes inside of the structure as well. So I get that entire inside looks like it's going to get flooded with water. It's kind of like fuel compartments in an airplane wing. You know, it's like water compartments with holes in between them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, I assume this thing's going to be completely filled with water to get enough flow rate in there to, make it useful and not burn up.
Yeah.
Can I just say that
Interesting.
how mesmerizing and like hypnotizing is it to watch SPMT wheels? Like
It is nice. It looks like a centipede just moving down the road.
Yeah,
Yeah, it has
16
something, right?
going
It's
in a row.
also there's the light truck. It's literally a truck for light. That's what it does.
I mean,
It's
It is
doing
a
a-
truck and it has lights.
it's doing its job.
It's doing a better job at lighting itself up at the moment than the SPMT. I mean, I will be honest,
Yeah.
but
Imagine
it needs to
driving
tilt the
and getting
lights
that
up a little
back
bit.
glare.
Yeah. Oh, but
It's
he's
a
got his
bright truck.
indicators on. Just in case anyone wasn't sure where he's going. Oh no, he's got his hazards on. He hasn't got his indicators on.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
remember, the stand is also to the they're cheering on top of this plate.
They're taking a selfie. Oh my god. Okay, new bucket list item. How can we set this up? NSF team building exercise?
Yeah, I think step 1 is work for SpaceX probably, which I have bad news for you in terms of my ability to do that.
Oh.
Because there's a thing called ITAR, and well,
ITAR Schmitar.
yeah.
Oh boy, I know at work we have a lot of German coworkers. They're not allowed anywhere near the factory and stuff like that because of ITAR. It's really, really difficult. So yeah, I could imagine trying to get a job at SpaceX it's impossible basically until you get a green card or something. Now they're moving around here. They're walking around. I don't know if they're communicating with someone off of there or if they're checking clearances, making sure everything's working. But
Oh, there's a guy down there.
If
It
they're
looks like he's chatting to the guy in the blue high vis.
yeah.
If they're checking clearances, that's a very relaxed way to do it with like the can of something in the hand. It's like
Yeah.
it's certainly very. Oh, there's the stand.
Oh, there's the flippy stand. So what we're guessing is that
Oh.
the plate will be, this stand will get to the launch site first potentially. They'll then put the steel plate on that, flip it up, and then use this kind of jig to kind of roll the plate vertically under the legs of the OLM. So, well, it's stopped rolling now. I'm not sure if this means it's going to go. Oh, it's going again. So it looks as if the steel plate is giving way to the jig, so the jig will get to the pad first.
I'm actually like a giant
it's the
flashing
right side,
screen.
right? It has to give
Yeah.
way because right has whatever.
Oh yeah, it's already on Highway 4.
Yeah.
I imagine there's like a giant flashing sign saying "Steel pancakes yield to transport thingy."
Yes.
Oh, the drone's up. Drone's up. They're
Of
pulling
course
out
the drone's
all the
up.
stops on this.
When's the drone not up, Ian? They throw the drone up for everything.
This is so okay. This is genuinely
this is
much more
weird.
exciting than it should be.
Oh, look at this. So in order to get the plate
Oh.
around the corner, they've had to turn the wrong way down Highway 4. They've had to turn towards Brownsville, and they're going to have to reverse it back up. So I think the pickup might also have to wait for it to come back up. All the guys on top are starting
Or-
to turn round.
Ryan, other theory here: the driver really doesn't know where the pad is, and he's driving to Brownsville right now.
They're taking it to
Turn around.
Brownsville Airport.
And it's interesting because the SPMTs can go, obviously forward as well as backwards. So it's really no biggie to have to, drive quote unquote backwards with these things.
Yeah, that's true.
I just saw someone in chat saying, waiting for the 10-minute siren.
This is like when we talked about covering a steel plate rolling out. I didn't expect it to be this exciting.
This is
And there we go.
nuts.
It's moving the other way. Unfortunately, I think that Dodge van has just gotten in the way a little bit there. But of course, we are literally on the side of a road. There is no better angle really you can get of this. Yeah, so unfortunately, some vehicles will be in the way, but you've still got a pretty good angle there. As all the people on the
What's
top
going
spin
on with
around.
that crane? With that digger on the right that was also turning
I don't know.
violently.
That's not
What's
really-
happening here?
Doing some digging. Also, can I say I love the lighting on that fence there? Very aesthetic. I don't know. I'm a killer for small details. Anyway, they're making their way down Highway 4 right now, continuing. I believe it's the 1.6 mile trek to the launch pad, so about 2.2 kilometers. Real rough guess.
I can do you one better on that, Ian. From my calculation here, using Google Earth Studio, not sponsored.
Ooh.
It's about approximately 4,065.42 meters. And if you were curious, there's an elevation change for about 3.5 meters, and the average slope is about 2%. So just in case you were wondering. But that's a rough estimate. The imagery on Google Earth is a bit outdated because, SpaceX innovates and builds stuff so quickly. But that's kind of roughly how it is.
Yeah. And again, for kind of a scale of where we are right now. So the camera right now it's stationed on Remedios Ave, which is, it's next to the production site. It's on the farthest away side from the launch site. We're right between the production site and the Sanchez or propellant production site. Looking right now, that truck is moving down Highway 4 towards the launch site. So just kind of a general sense of direction where we are right now.
Yeah, I think that road takes you to the rocket garden, right? If I remember correctly.
If this camera,
if you go down, yeah.
If that camera turned 180, we would see the rocket garden. Now, right now, they're moving past the production site. Unfortunately, we don't have any cameras right there at the production site, to my knowledge. So it's going to be a little bit of a camera drought until they pass some of our highway cameras. We're getting a bit of a view here. You can see the transport stand through the trees there. Again, it's kind of a difficult shot because we're looking through not only the Texas haze, because the sun only recently set there, but also the trees and the fog and all the goodies that you get down by the ocean. So you can see the transport stand just peeking up there.
And again, we will have other views down the
Absolutely.
line. That's a good thing. We have cameras everywhere, so you will get different views down the road.
Yep. Awesome. So yeah, you also see all the lights around there. It's a very busy scene right now. And with the drone going up too, it's just chaotic right now. It's beautiful, beautiful chaos.
You can see the jig just pointing out of the bushes there, out of the grass.
Yep. This whole operation so far seems like the senior engineers have their free day today, and the juniors get to play around. And I don't know. It seems very fun.
Hey, those are the best kind of days.
Yeah, very, very interesting operation so far.
Awesome. People in chat are saying we need our own drone. I would absolutely love for us to have our own drone, but there's a bit of a problem in that we would get fined about $10,000 for flying a drone here, and probably get in pretty significant trouble other than that. So unfortunately, the area around Boca Chica is a no drone zone. It wasn't like that for a while. I believe around late 2019, early 2020, that restriction went in place because some people were flying them right over the launch pad. So unfortunately, it's a no drone zone for people other than SpaceX. And, it sucks, but, them's the rules. You got to follow them. Anyway, we're watching... Go ahead.
What SpaceX does to get the best views, right? So
yeah.
I mean, it would be great to have a drone on. I mean, we would get spectacular views right here. But I think at this point, with the popularity of Boca Chica, you would need to have an air traffic controller for all the drones that would go up.
Yeah.
Just based on the highway.
Probably get hit. Knowing our luck, it would probably get hit by concrete.
Even the lowest you can get now is because of the TFR. I think the lowest you can get is 10,000 feet. So theoretically, you can send something up there, like when Nick does the flyovers from the plane. But you need a pretty decent lens and then a lot of smoothening of the footage afterwards. So it's not easy.
And just a real quick note for people in chat: if you ask your question, it's already popped up in our queue. There's no need to repeat the questions. We've already got them either lined up or answered already. So if you ask it once, that's perfect. We got it in the queue. So moving on to some questions, or actually, I want to thank some of our members right now while we have a second in between great shots here of the all the movement happening here. Jeff Rowe has gifted 1 Red Team membership. Thank you very much for that, Jeff. And Mark Otto being very generous tonight, gifting 10 Red Team memberships. So thank you to the both of you. Nerd, a regular on the stream, and a part of the NSF team actually now. Thanks for gifting 10 Red Team memberships to the community. Jeff Rowe gifting another single Red Team membership and another one as well. And then Stabby Unicorn, who very generously super chatted the $300 super chat, has become a Launch Director member. So they are being overwhelmingly generous with all their support tonight. So thank you so much, Stabby Unicorn, for that. Dirk Hay has become a PadRat member. Thank you very much for that support there. And to all of our new members tonight and everyone who was gifted a membership, we hope you enjoy all the great perks that come alongside it. The behind the scenes videos, the members Discord, you know all the goodies by now. There's a lot of great perks that come along with NSF channel memberships. A question here from Raziel asking, how big is the steel plate? So I'm sure we don't have, specific... Oh, actually, before I get to that, we have a map view here showing exactly what's happening. So if you look there, right where the arrow begins towards the left side of the screen, that is the tent that we were looking at just about 10 minutes ago. It seems like to be SpaceX's shipping and receiving and general warehouse tent. So it moved to the right there down Remedios Avenue, took a left onto Highway 4, and that's where it is right now. Continuing past the production site, it's going to make a right turn then in just a little bit as it heads towards the launch site. You see the drone there actually in the right view, just off screen. Now again, we're tracking
I'll also note that this Google Earth imagery is outdated, so the tent isn't actually on there, but you can see that the Mega Bay isn't completed on that view either. So this is SpaceX build stuff so rapidly, Google Earth can't keep up with them with their clear imagery that they get from their satellites with the imagery they purchase. So yeah, you can't see the tent on that map, but trust me, it is there. We just saw it on stream.
Yeah, that's one of the newer structures built, along with something else missing. The Star Factory is missing there, or at least is very early in construction on that Google Earth view. So next time that gets updated, which hopefully is soon, it's going to look pretty radically different. Anyway, on the right side of your screen, you can see the transport jig really peaking up there. Unfortunately, you can't really see the steel plate that's very flat, basically a pancake. That's moving right behind it right now. But passing by the tents, it's going to be passing near the Flaps restaurant, then near the Starlink payload processing facility, and then after that we will get some great views as they get closer and closer to our highway cameras.
It looks like somebody's really dedicated to make a really big painting here. Like, if you look at the stand, it's like, I don't know. I cannot unsee it.
I get that, like a big easel.
Yeah.
And then you just put it hang it on the side of the orbital launch tower or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Big canvas.
Let's say you could paint a Starship on the side of the orbital tower, a life-size Starship. That'd be completely pointless because you have a real one right next to it.
Just use a mirror.
Yeah. Now, for anyone who just joined here on the stream, we're watching the rollout of the steel Deluge plate. This will be basically throwing a ton of water up underneath the orbital launch mount during an engine ignition and liftoff of the Super Heavy booster. Now, Adrian, do you kind of want to give us a quick run through as what is this system? Why is it important? And why is SpaceX doing it now instead of after the first test? Did something happen?
Yeah, initially SpaceX for the first flight, of course, used their Fire X system, and maybe hoped it worked. Turns out it didn't, because the concrete on the pad kind of evaporated and got ejected to everywhere. So they're now trying a new method to suppress the energy of the Super Heavy booster. So what they're doing here is they want to get water into the area. They want to make sure they pump water against the thrust of the Super Heavy booster and Raptors to give it a lot of water, because water can basically, how to explain it? The energy goes into the water and evaporates it. So that's how you dispose energy, because that takes energy. And if you do that enough, you dispose enough energy so you keep your concrete. I hope that explains it in some way. But yeah, that's their goal here. This is the plate foundation, the centerpiece kind of, where which they will install right below Super Heavy. And this is where the water will come from, and how they will hopefully manage to have a reusable pad for the second attempt.
Yeah, quite a very, very dangerous environment under there. You would not want to stand under the pad. Actually, there's a live shot of the pad right now. You do not want to stand there during launch. It's a very, very nasty place. A lot of fire, a lot of force, a lot of energy. And that's what this whole thing is trying to disperse and get rid of. Now, so we're seeing two things move on the screen there. That really tall thing, that is not the steel plate. That is kind of a transport jig. Ryan, so what exactly is that for? They're not transporting on it right now. So what is that thing there for?
So I don't even know if transport jig is the right terminology, really. It's more of a fitting jig. So The theory at the moment is that once this jig and the plate get to the pad, again they're following each other down Highway 4. Once they get to the pad, we're not sure if they'll do this tonight or later on, but we're guessing they'll do it soon. The steel plate will be lifted onto that jig and placed onto the jig, so people don't have to lift it by hand, because as we mentioned earlier, it's massive. It's going to be extremely heavy. So once the plate is on this jig, it's then in the vertical position, and it will be able to fit under the legs of the OLM, because if you imagine how wide it is now, there's no way it can fit in horizontal. It has to be vertical, or in this case near vertical. So once they place the...
Did we lose Ryan there?
I think we lost Ryan there. Yeah, I
Yep.
always compare it to, in my mind right now, I compare it to how you try to fit your couch through your door when you move into your apartment. You need to, like, you cannot go like straight. You need to angle it, and this is basically the couch angling device just for the plate. That's how I try to imagine it for my mind.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Adrian, for kind of picking up the torch there and running with it after we had a minor loss of signal there with Ryan. LOS Ryan, we can confirm. Andy Skibba in chat here saying, we need plate plushies and we need plate coasters. Adrian, you're the store man, so get on that, I think. What are your thoughts?
We will not do steel plate plushies. Guys,
That would be hilarious. Like, and the outer casing is just like aluminum foil or something. That would be amazing.
just a gray blob. It's like, hey, here's your steel plate plushie. Oh.
Here's your plushie. It's just literally just a hunk of steel. Not very plush, but
I think you could get away with a grey pillow, to be fair, Adrian.
Yeah, we just buy like a lot of gray pillows and just say, no, they're totally steel plate plushies.
Oh no, we can make like a set of coasters, like a plate coaster, heat shield tile coaster, like a super heavy engine configuration.
See, I'm game for a heat shield pillow. I'm actually writing that down right now. I'm down for
yes.
I'm down for a hexagonal heat shield pillow.
Adrian, I swear I will buy that. All right, and
Will they
okay,
be flame resistant, Adrian? Will they be flame resistant heat shield pillows?
you can buy flame
make
retardant
sure.
material.
I like this brainstorming right now. I'm
All right.
noting this.
This is sorry
Let's
about the
move
quick impromptu meeting here, everyone.
Let's move this to the shop meeting later in the week.
In chat, also chat, who here would buy a hexagonal heat shield tile pillow? I assume it would be black on one side, white on the other side to make it true to life. Give me some votes in chat. Who would buy that? And while we're waiting for those votes to come in, we're seeing the police convoy kind of blaring out our cameras right here. You can see the Star Factory, the new Star Factory expansion in the background, and somewhere in all that light is a steel plate, maybe, question mark. Right now it looks like the sun is going supernova in front of my eyes, but
Unfortunately, our cameras don't have the dynamic range in order to see the blaring bright police light. I mean, look at that. This is the problem when it's pitch black everywhere, apart from the massive light trucks and the police convoy. But you can roughly make out what's coming this way.
Yeah, I think at some point somebody called it like there's a rave at the roadblock. And yes, that's at night you only see bright lights. Also, fun other thing, at night the tower is also amazing. It's just like this giant light at the tower to make sure that you see it. It's just blinking constantly. So if you like lights at night, Boca is
there
your
we
place.
go. And I see chat is going absolutely crazy for both coasters and pillows of heat shield tiles. So, Adrian, I think we know what we need to do now.
It's already noted.
There's going to be some great things coming your way, everyone. So now we're looking here on stream. We can start to see the transport jig there Adrian was just discussing. The police convoy leading the way. Again, Highway 4 right now is closed. There's a temporary road closure tonight from 9 to 11 p.m. Central, Adrian. Is that correct, or is it 9 to midnight?
It's 9 to 11, and I would say based on where they are right now, good pace so far. Good pace.
Yeah, they should be there by 10 after, maybe 10:15.
Yeah,
or so.
I think 30 more minutes is probably a good guess. They're they're fast in the sense that they are using SPMTs who are not known for being fast.
I mean, also you're not transporting something super tall and something super fragile, so you don't need to. You don't need to go super slow here. Also, a few things to look out on screen here. So obviously we have the big transport convoy there happening in the center right. The transport jig leading the way with the steel plate, or the pancake as some people like to call it that. I really like that name now. Following behind it. We're going to get some good close-up shots here as it gets closer to our cameras on our highway plot. You can see the drone actually up there in the air flying just in front of the high bay. And speaking of the high bay, you can see ship 29. It's ship 29, right, Adrian? There's so much happening, I'm losing count now.
In the bay should I think right now we're looking at 29. Yes.
Yeah, 29 there. Just is basically done with stacking there in the high bay. Oop.
Yep.
There we go.
There comes
Great
the
shots.
There comes the plate. Yeah.
Yep, there's the jig right there, and then the plate coming into camera view from the right. Excellent shots there.
People are still on it. I can't work it out yet. I don't think they would have got off. This is all I care about now. This is my new designated role as people on the pancake.
I think they're on it. I think you can see.
There we go. I can see him. I can see him.
Pancake sitters. And also, real quick correction.
Sitters.
Thank you, Alex, in the back channel for correcting me. Ship 28 is in the front of the high bay. You can just barely see it. And then ship 29 is in the back. Also in the mega bay right now, I believe, is booster 12. So SpaceX is absolutely kicking butt when it comes to production. You can see the person in front there of the SPMTs. They have the control there. They're basically moving it. The guys on top are having fun. I don't know exactly what they're doing. Probably more checking clearances, making sure nothing's sliding around, nothing's going to get hit. But we all know they're just chilling out there, and I can't blame them personally. I would do the same thing. I love the blinking.
I would like to play like ping pong on the plate.
That would be great.
That would be cool. Did they lose 2 people? Like, there are only 2 more people, right?
I don't know. Are we losing people?
I can't work it out.
I'm not sure.
I hope they haven't fallen off.
We lost some people here.
Oh, we've got to stop. What have we stopped for? I think I can work out at least 3 people on there at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I think we are still fine. All good.
Yep. It's not uncommon for them to pause like this just to check, make sure all the systems are looking good. Like, these SPMTs are very complicated. They're not just wheels. Each individual wheel can turn on its own independently. They can also raise and lower themselves independently. So a lot of complex systems here. Maybe just taking a second to make sure everything's working. There's all good clearances. Maybe there's something they just saw that looked a little off. Nothing weird about this. Again, they have an hour and 19 minutes left in the road closure. So
let's hope they don't break down halfway.
Yeah. That would not be very fun, because then you need to extend the road closure. But it seems like there's a little bit of work happening up there.
I don't know.
Maybe
they're told to
grabbing
get off. What are they? Well, I'm really not sure what they're doing. What are they checking? Has it slipped slightly?
Maybe they're grabbing a bottle of champagne.
I'm just picking stuff out of my head right now, but it seems like they're walking around and checking something. So, or they're getting down. I'm really not sure what's going on.
Very interesting. Well, we have a second here. I really want to thank Brondo, who gave us a $10 tip through tips.nasaspaceflight.com, which is another great way to directly support us without, YouTube taking their cuts and things like that. So it's a great way to give direct support to the cause and help us get great camera views like the one we're looking at right now. So much stuff on screen. Kevin's trying desperately to see all of it. So help us afford more cameras. But yeah, thank you very much to Brondo. They're saying Texas plate watching, that's a new thing. I haven't heard that term before, but I really do like that one. So thank you, Rhonda. We really appreciate that. Again, tips.nasaspaceflight.com. Now, again, the camera.
I think you could argue that it's a really thin water tank.
I mean,
I guess, or a really wide water pipe.
Whoa, we're going real quick.
Whoa.
Oh.
Maybe they told the guys to get off so they could speed up.
They're like, come on.
Whoa.
You're supposed to be there 10 minutes ago. Look at that.
That guy has an appointment apparently in a few minutes.
Yeah, they're nearly breaking the speed limit. He knows he's got dinner ready for him at home.
We were
It's
told the
getting
plate
cold
would
on
be
the
there a
table.
quarter of.
Yeah.
Somebody on the plate was like, I bet you cannot reach the launch site in 10 minutes, and he was like, watch me.
That
Yeah,
plate
bet,
outran our
$5.
camera pan. Unbelievable.
They are hauling the mail, to use an American expression. I mean, they are absolutely blasting their way down Highway 4 relative to the size and the weight of that plane.
Yeah, we are talking about like a multi-ton plate here, right? It's not like transporting your average, I don't know, cargo. It's a multi-ton steel plate on top of an SBMT.
Yeah, this is a very... It doesn't seem like it would be that heavy just based on its size, but this is incredibly thick, dense steel. You do not want this thing falling on you or hitting you. It would be a very nasty time, so... A lot of stuff
There it
being moved
is.
down Highway 4. There we go. If our camera's finally caught up with it.
I mean, they still have people walking around it, so it's not exactly you going 60 miles an hour down the road, but it's still, for considering the scale of the vehicle, it's going relatively quickly.
That's a nice shot.
Very cool. And again, very lit up because SpaceX has that light truck following there. Absolutely blaring light down there. This reminds me actually of the Orbital Launch Tower stream, the rollout streams back at Pad 39A. Remember those days? Those were good old days, probably like a year or two ago. But they would have that light truck following behind.
I want to point out, by the way, that everybody that is outside there right now is probably getting bombarded by mosquitoes. At night,
Oh, no.
once they find you, they will come for you. It's
Yep.
it's the worst. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, I feel kind of guilty. I'm sitting right now in the nice air conditioning inside, but yeah, they're
You've got air
struggling.
conditioning. Oh, the modern luxuries of life, Ian.
In America.
When we did the lift, the D-stack, I think the final D-stack stream, I was out there, and at some point the mosquitoes found me, and I had to flee inside of Nick's car because there were just like suddenly like 50 mosquitoes around me.
Yeesh. Yeah, I've heard it's pretty nasty down there. Mosquitoes the size of baseballs, which is crazy to imagine. Real quick, going through some questions here from David Furlow asking, could SpaceX use Starship thermal tiles on stage 0 as thermal protection, or is there something that would make them a bad choice? Well, Ryan, why exactly aren't they using thermal tiles? Oh, the drone's up right now. So Ryan, why aren't they using the Starship thermal tiles? Wouldn't that be an easy solution here?
I'll get to that in a minute, but I've just noticed the 4 guys who are doing like the walk of shame behind the light truck there because I guess they were told to get off the plane. I don't know. I just find that really funny. Anyway, so back to the question. I'm going to guess the reason they can't use thermal tiles for the protection is because they're just kind of designed for a different purpose. They're designed to protect against re-entry, which isn't, having 33 Raptor 2 engines bombard it at once. You don't want them to break apart, right? We've seen how easily these things fall off the vehicle. And also you need to be able to dissipate the heat. You need to get it away, and also you need to be able to fight against the methane and the liquid oxygen coming out the bottom of the vehicle to contain or try and dissipate the energy for any potential explosions. We saw what happened under Booster 7 when it had its little leak in the explosion when it was trying to do some testing, right? I think it was July last year, nearly coming up on a year on that. So yeah, the thermal tiles, they can't push liquid or fluid up into where an explosion could be, right? They can't protect against that, which is kind of also partial what water deluge is for, get the energy away, but you can't do that if you don't have anything to push it. That's kind of the reason that the deluge exists.
Yep. And so thanks.
I didn't say that Texas mosquitoes are the size of small dogs, Crispy.
Small dogs, unbelievable. Another question here from We Will Rocket You, asking any ideas on the weight of this monster. I'm going to pass this to you, Adrian. Do you have any guesses or any actual indications on what the weight of this thing is? I know we didn't see any labels going by, unfortunately, but any ideas on how much this thing weighs, or just a lot?
I think we're at a lot and a few tons. The problem is we don't know exactly how hollow it is everywhere, how much mass there is. It's probably in the ballpark of 5-ish, 10-ish tons, somewhere in there. But we don't know exact numbers, and everything above that speculation would be, I think, very very unserious. So I don't have an exact number.
I think if we want to stick with like the technical engineering terms, this thing weighs a lot. All right,
A
moving
lot.
on to the next question. So Random Sandwich here is asking, let's see, what type of fluid will SpaceX use for the steel plate? So what's going to be the Deluge fluid? I'm going to pass this to you, Ryan. Are they going to use fresh water or some kind of antifreeze coolant, salt water, anything special, Ryan?
That's a really good question that I don't have the answer to. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's probably not gonna be salt water, considering they have their own tanks there for storage and they're getting deliveries of water. So I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be fresh water. But as Adrian was saying earlier, there's gonna be some presumed nitrogen in there to pressurize it all. So I'm sure there'll be trace amounts of nitrogen mixed in there as well with the water, but of course not as that'll be a gas to pressurize. There won't be as much mass as there would be for a liquid.
Gotcha.
Also, you get into a situation where salt has the tendency to be very bad for basically everything. So you don't
It's
want
all
to
out
use
chips.
probably. It's like and
Ooh.
chips are good with salt, not with salt water. Oh no.
Oh, disgusting.
Yeah, no.
Oh, just to dip your French fries in salt water. Anyway, move on.
Yeah, but you don't want to have like salt everywhere, because once the water evaporates, that leaves salt. So yeah, they probably use fresh water.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, fresh water is it is what is used, excuse me, on basically every other rocket launch pad. So it would make sense just to keep with that tradition. Plus, salt water corrodes, and also if you pump water, say out of a lake, you could have just dirt and stuff in there that can wear out your pipe, clog motors, things like that you really don't want to deal with. So thanks for the question, Random Sandwich. Moving on, we got some more support here coming in. So thank you very much to everyone who supported us tonight. Also, before I get into this, you can support us right now for free by doing very, very, very minimal effort. I know I like doing little effort, and I'm sure a lot of other people like doing little effort too. Just click that like button. It is a very, very simple but actually meaningful way to support this channel without doing anything, without super chatting or doing any memberships. It really helps us in the YouTube algorithm. I don't know how the algorithm works. It's not my job. But all I know is like button equals good. So more likes, more good. I think that's how it goes. But yeah, we really appreciate everyone for just hitting a like and even just sitting here and watching with us. That means a lot to see all the support here in chat. So moving on, Jeff Francis has a $5 super chat, no message, but thank you very much, Jeff. We really appreciate that. Raziel has become a Pad Rat member, so thank you, Raziel. We hope you enjoy all the perks that come with it, our behind-the-scenes videos and all the other membership goodies that come along with the ride. Kyle Trick here with a $5 tip saying, thanks for the Friday night live coverage. Well, you're welcome, Kyle. Hope you nice little entertainment here on a Friday night. And thank you for the support. We really much appreciate that tip. Now, T-Hawk here with a $5 super chat saying 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29. Already at ship 29. P.S. Good tripod tests at McGregor today. Probably lots of data gathered on Raptor V3. Then some nice honks there. Yeah. If anyone here is unaware, if you want to watch some engine testing literally any time during the day, check out McGregor Live, literally 24/7. It's happening right now, happening tomorrow, it's happening the day after that, showing all the engine testing, vehicle testing going on at SpaceX's McGregor, Texas site. There's always some Raptor testing happening. We have, I think, usually around 5 or so Raptor tests a day, would you guys say?
It's certainly an average. Some days it's a bit quiet, some days it's busy.
Oh yeah, some days you'll have like a dozen, some days will be none.
I think average of 5 might be stretching it, because there's a lot of 0 days, so that kills the average. But I wouldn't be surprised if the average is around 3, but I wouldn't even be surprised if, well, it's 6. Okay, Tanner, who's actually tracking it.
Trust the man who's got the spreadsheets, Adrian.
I'm not blaming spreadsheets.
I got out spreadsheeted. That's a first.
Love that. But yeah, so yeah, thank you, T-Hawk. We appreciate that support, and we're glad that you're excited about this too. A lot of cool things happening. Raptor V3 has entered testing. Again, there's no indication as to when Raptor V3 is going to be rolled out on Starship vehicles. Probably several months away at this rate. It is very much in an early early phase of its development. So I do not expect to see Raptor 3 coming soon, but it is on testing at McGregor, and you can watch that testing on our McGregor live streams. Also, we're getting some great shots here of the orbital launch site as we await the arrival of the steel plate and its transport jig. I really like those lights on the top of the launch pad. It looks like something you see at like a fancy restaurant, out on like a back patio. Gives me those vibes.
Just,
I know they're
overlooking the Mediterranean.
overlooking the Gulf in this
I would
case.
eat something out there.
I was just about to say, I would totally have some like nice, spaghetti and meatballs on top of the OLM, right?
Gonna enjoy a nice dinner. Like the 4 people that are coming there are probably coming to have dinner on the OLM at this point.
Their legs
Oh,
are going
yeah.
to be aching by the time they get there, and then they have to do the walk of shame behind the SPMTs. They're not allowed to ride on it anymore.
Yeah.
So what is it, like a spaghetti meatballs to the side of like a lox latte or something? I don't know. Here,
God.
chat, tell me, what would you like to eat on top of the OLM with those fancy lights? I like seeing all the chat the chat going crazy today. I love seeing everyone's response here. What would you like to eat? I'm a spaghetti and meatballs kind of guy up there. But let's see what else everyone's got. In the meantime, real quick, I want to thank some new support that just came in. We have a $5 super chat from Shoira Bose saying, how will they fit the plate under the pad? It looks too wide to go between the legs. Well, Adrian, you mentioned it's going to go in kind of vertically, then they'll lay it down, right?
Yeah, the transport stand that is the installation stand, I should say, that's rolling with it, will help it to orientate it into a vertical fit through the door kind of configuration, where they can fit it through the OLM legs, and then from there make sure they get it into a horizontal position again. That's how they will do it.
Very cool. Thank you. Moving on, we have actually real quick in chat, a lot of people are saying we got some tacos, burgers, bagel, and lox. Interesting. LN2 ice cream. I like that. Some bird seed. Got some bacon. A lot of bacon. A lot of bacon. I think we got some Jack influence here in chat. Some Texas barbecue. Very, very nice. Raptor pie. Pancakes. Pancakes, very topical. I like that. Love to see all of that there. And again, we're looking at a
I
live
see a
view.
Texan brisket in the list as well there. That's classic Texan brisket.
All right, remind me never to do this again and never ask that question because I am hungry for some barbecue now. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
Crispy says sausage rolls. I have to concur with that statement, Crispy. I wouldn't mind some sausage rolls on the OLM.
Guys, why did I do this?
It's bad if you're already in like a situation where usually you would get close to breakfast and you're like, why are we talking about food again?
Oh no. Are we getting near sunrise out there, Adrian?
Oh, we absolutely have bright light outside. I see a bright blue sky.
Oh no.
I was gonna say I'm getting some hints of navy in my sky. So if the sun's not already risen in Germany, then something's gone wrong.
It's almost
it's,
11 p.m. here.
Yep. Welcome to Starbase coverage.
Again,
I mean,
I just want to reiterate. I don't think it's really mentioned a lot. Oh, we can see the structures are getting near the launch pad here. I believe this is from our South Beach camera. Pretty.
It really
big
looks like a centipede just crawling over the area.
It does.
Like
It looks like a
illuminated
moving,
centipede.
looks like a monorail or like a train moving through with like the lights. I don't know.
Yeah.
You see the guys of shame?
They got kicked off. Real quick, George Jenkins here with a $10 super chat saying, is that Elton John and his piano on top of the Deluge plates? Where are the amps? I love that. I could totally see like Billy Joel or Elton John just playing piano on top of it. That would totally be a concert thing. That's a good
I
reference.
think that's
there,
in
George.
reference in. I think Elton John had like a little like motorized piano thing at some of his concerts, and he just like drive
did.
around the stage and whatnot. So
I know, like
I
at
think
least.
that's-
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, that is something that has happened, and that's something that I have in my head now, and I can't get out of it.
Yeah, and I know like Billy Joel will have like a spinning piano thing at some concerts, but I don't know. Either way, I like music, and I can go on far too long about that. Thank you, George. We really appreciate that support. Kyle Trick here, someone we saw earlier in the stream with a $5 super chat saying, let's go steel plate. Absolutely. Again, it blows my mind how excited we're all getting over a steel plate rolling out, but then you think about this is pretty big in terms of Starship development. It's a big development happening, so and it's just a great excuse, just to get together, just chill out on a Friday night, just do some Texas plate watching and a little bit of tank watching here and there, but it's just like a fun time just to goof around a little bit. Again, we're seeing the convoy there approaching the launch pad. Again, the road is closed, and it has been closed for about 59 minutes now. Again, the road closure. Adrian?
Even if it's not closed, good luck getting past that.
Oh no, yeah, you're not. I think at this point they don't really need the road closure because you're not getting over there.
I bet if you go back now, you would see a giant traffic jam behind it. Just like,
oh yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
All good. And so we're moving now towards the launch pad. Again, this road closure extends for basically almost exactly 1 more hour until 11 p.m. Central Time. So plenty of time to get everything in position down there at the launch site. Now, we don't really have a timeline on when exactly this is going to be installed or what the process for that is exactly going to look like. That's something you're going to need to keep an eye out on not McGregor Live, Starbase Live, our 24/7 Starbase live streams. Definitely keep an eye out on those. And I'm sure if it starts happening, maybe we'll do a dedicated stream, maybe a Raptor side. So be sure to follow us on Twitter as well at NASASpaceflight to stay up to date on that. Now, again, as we're getting closer to the to the launch pad, I'm going to ask one more real quick question here. Man of Sand here is asking, how many launches can these plates withstand before needing replacement? Ryan, do we have any count on that, or is this kind of just a real quick first attempt and SpaceX finds out when they do?
I mean, I think the amount of launches these plates can withstand is a number that we'll be finding out over the coming launches, right? Elon said in the first Twitter space he did, following the launch, that he thought that the team at SpaceX thought that the concrete could withstand more thrusts from the Raptors than it did, right? So hopefully that they're being a lot more conservative with their estimates for this plate. So I would hope that SpaceX have added in more margin with this plate system than with the concrete. So I'd hope more than one, because the point of Starship is to be rapidly reusable, and you can't be rapidly reusable if your ground infrastructure can't support that. So yeah, it's I hope it's many launches rather than just one.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of expendable rockets, reusable pads, but it's not often that you get a reusable rocket with an expendable pad. So SpaceX is really trying to pivot that around from an expendable Starship launch pad to a reusable rocket and a reusable launch pad. So let's hope that works out.
Let's aim for like one launch where the pad survives first before we start talking about how many it can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Zigza K here is asking, what was going on with the ship QD arm earlier? I'm going to toss this to either of you guys, whoever knows what was happening there. They saw that they had a crane attached to something up there, so I was driving for all of this afternoon, so I didn't see what was happening. Did we see anything going on there, Ryan or Adrian, or was this just general work, it seemed like?
I actually asked a question in the back channel about this because I wasn't too sure, and Adrian, I believe you gave me the answer, so yeah, first of all, what were they doing up there, and does it have anything to do with the potential hot staging rings?
Yeah, right now we believe that they are modifying the QD, because if they attach a hot staging ring on top of the booster, that moves the ship up. So then you suddenly have a situation where the ship is in a different position, so you need to move the QD, because the QD connects to a certain spot at the ship. So what we believe is happening right now is modifications ongoing to prepare a slightly taller Starship. Because overall the whole stack will be slightly taller with the hot staging ring. So it seems like they are preparing and working on that. And but I don't know the exact movement they've done because I pre-slept for this stream. So I'm not aware of the exact movements, but that's probably what they are working on continuously, and that might also be the reason why the QD adapter was removed a few weeks ago.
And
so maybe at that point they already made the decision to hot stage.
We're getting a nice tilt here. I think that's the term, a tilt, showing the entire orbital launch tower, the chopsticks secured up on top and out of the way of all the work happening at the bottom, again clearing the way for cranes and crew lifts and all those goodies to be in place. You can see the QD arm there on the left side of the tower kind of sticking out. A lot of work will be going into that to make it probably a little bit higher in some way to reach the ship, now that the ship is going to be mounted higher above the booster. Now, while we have a moment here before all that equipment reaches the orbital launch pad, we're going to take a moment to plug our store, shop.nasaspaceflight.com. Now, we talked a lot earlier about how super chats and tips.nasaspaceflight.com and memberships are great ways to support us, but one of the best ways to support us and get some amazing, amazing goodies in return, like this is honestly the best value, bang for your buck in terms of support, is shop.nasaspaceflight.com. We have our full stack Starship plushie. Is almost ready to go. It's a 22-inch tall plushie booster plus ship, and of course, you can stack them and integrate them. Now, this follows on to our Starship ship plushie that came out, I think it was a year or a year and a half ago. We had a lot of requests for a full stack plushie, and well, here it is. It's available on shop.nasaspaceflight.com, right on the front page there to pre-order right now. We also have a lot of other things such as metal prints, not just for Starship, not just for Falcon 9. It's for basically everything having to do with spaceflight you can imagine. We got a lot of great Falcon 9 things in there. Of course, plenty of Starship. We got some Rocket Garden, SLS, Falcon Heavy, Atlas 5, Delta 4, you name it, we've basically got it. NSF has an extremely talented team of photographers out there. Of course, down at Starbase, we have Nick and we have Chris. We have Max and Pauline and Jack and everyone else capturing so many great spaceflight events, and you can purchase them to hang on your wall with metal prints. Now, of course, each metal print does come with its mounting hardware, so you don't need to buy anything secondhand. Everything you will need to mount this on your wall will come in that package. Again, we got some great shots of the first Starship flight, some lightning at several different sites. Again, great shot here of Starship leaving the pad. I think this one came from Jack Beyer, if I remember correctly. But yeah, again, tons and tons and tons of metal prints are available. I'm sure you'll find one on your wall that will look great on your wall. Again, that's shop.nasaspaceflight.com. Great way to support us and get some things in return. Now, again, we're looking back here at the Starship orbital launch site. You see a lot of crews out there right now. They were doing some metal cutting earlier. They're awaiting the arrival of the big steel plate, or the steel pancake, as it's been lovingly nicknamed. Real quick, Peter here with a $2 super chat asking how many plates are still in the tent and can we see inside? Now, Ryan, do we know how many other parts are kind of waiting installation? Have we seen anything like that recently, or is it just this piece right now?
Well, we saw the live view of the plate coming out. I couldn't really make out anything behind it. We got loads of photos from Nick, very high-res photos, whilst the plate was still in there. But of course, as the plate came out, that bot kind of had to be packed up pretty quickly, so we couldn't really get a look inside of the tent there. But I'm sure if more things are built in there and the doors are open like they were yesterday, that we can get some more imagery inside of there. But yeah, it's kind of difficult to tell with this massive pancake of a plate already up front and on the SPMTs.
Gotcha. And again, we're getting a shot here of the convoy as it slowly is approaching the launch site. Again, this is kind of in a bit of a launch or a coverage desert area. Right now, they're passing right in front of the suborbital site. You see Ship 25 there with its freshly tested Raptors mounted on there. Again, just a few days ago, we saw the first 6-engine static fire on Ship 25. So that thing seems to be, if that static fire looked good, Ship 25 seems to be all ready and tested for flight. Now, which
is crazy, right? We are talking about half of the hardware for the second orbital flight already being checked out and probably like being close to ready. Like, we are not that far away from a second flight.
It feels like it just came up out of nowhere. Like, Ship 25 was just like, okay, suddenly I'm here. Okay, my engines are tested. I'm just ready to go. Now we're waiting on Booster 9. It seems like they've been doing a little bit of work on Booster 9 to get it ready to begin initial testing. Likely Raptor installations, I believe. I think that's what they're working on. Now, we don't know exactly when that's going to happen. Of course, that depends on when the work on the orbital launch mount stops continuing. There's a joke in there somewhere. But they got to wait on work to stop on the orbital launch mount so they can actually mount the booster on there, do some testing, and eventually, once all that concrete cures and once all the steel plates are in place, they can begin doing engine testing on the booster. Now, if I had to guess, probably like a month away at least on that engine testing. There's a lot of work that still has to be done on refurbishing and getting the pad upgraded ahead of the next flight. And again, Booster 9 itself doesn't really seem to be ready just yet, so we're going to need to wait a little bit on that one there. Now, Shora Bose, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name, with a $5 super chat saying, seeing the chopsticks stowed up high makes them wonder, will resting the chopsticks high up on a daily basis cause wear and tear? That's actually an interesting question, because metal being up, having that much of a moment arm on the tower can cause a bit of fatigue on it. I would guess, given the fact that that tower and those chopsticks need to withstand the weight of a landing booster, I think that's pretty much negligible wear and tear. Do you guys agree? Any thoughts on that?
I agree with that. I mean, yeah, this being stored up high, holding nothing compared to being up high, catching a booster. I mean, it's the load is much less, and the spool of cable in the big kind of metal box at the back of the tower. I mean, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. The numbers that SpaceX will be playing with here for the forces of these things is just mind-boggling. And this is just to catch it. This isn't anything about launching it.
Yeah,
It actually
absolutely.
worries me less that they are up right now, because you don't have these free dangling cables there all the time that are just there in the salty air and just waiting and resting. I don't know. It sounds better to have them up to me than have them down.
I think so. And plus, with the cranes in there, the cranes will likely be lifting the steel plate into position anyway. The LR 11,000 cranes. So you need to get them up out of the way because you don't want to hit them with your crane. You see right there, the crew's doing some welding out there on the pad. Again, just doing some miscellaneous work as they get ready for the big centerpiece of all of this operations to arrive, the steel Deluge plate. So sure, I hope that answered your question, and we appreciate your support. I saw your name a few times during stream here, so it means a lot to see that there. Andrew here with a store message saying, don't mind me, just grabbing the OFT merch I meant to buy a couple months ago. Well, Andrew, better late than never, and I guess you'll be ready now for OFT, or IFT2, the second integrated flight test of Starship. So thank you very much for that support. We appreciate that, and we hope that you enjoy the merch that you got. And that's one thing I actually forgot to mention. If you do order merch from shop.nasaspaceflight.com, there's a little blank there at checkout to leave a store message. That store message will pop up on stream just like any other super chat or membership or tips would. You will see your message up on stream, so we can thank you personally. So thank you, Andrew, for that. And Coco here with a $10 super chat saying, wish they could have watched the 132 concrete trucks at work. And that's right. About a week ago, we saw 132 cement trucks come in to pour cement to fill up the crater that was left at the orbital pad after the first Starship flight. That kind of literally laid the foundation for the steel plate coming in here. And 132 trucks. Guys, that is, I still can't believe 132 trucks were needed for that. Just crazy.
Yeah, it really is hard sometimes to imagine the scale of this. It's all so ginormous, and it sounds much, but then you look at how big the ULM is and the place below it, and you're like, okay, yeah, it makes sense why they need that much.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Remember,
huge
those
now.
trucks needed to get down Highway 4. I'm sure Adrian can attest to this, having visited back for the first flight. I mean, Highway 4 isn't, the most smoothly paved of roads in places.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of not great stories about traveling on Highway 4. A lot of potholes. Doesn't sound fun. So yeah, thank you for that support.
And just behind the water tanks here, actually, so those 6 kind of cylinders you see there, the water tanks, just behind there, it's kind of hiding into view now. You could see the jig there. The lights from the light trucks really aren't helping here, but you can see the jig making its way around the launch site here, and they'll be making their way into the through where the gate used to be. They did remove it, I presume, just to be able to fit the plate through. So they are nearly at the orbital launch site.
Yeah, you see the drone is up as well. So it seems like they're coming in through the former landing pad area. Does that look right to you guys? Because I can see the new high-pressure water tanks there in the center. Of course, the drone up in the air. Looks like they're coming through the big gate there at the old landing pad.
Yeah, that's about the area. Of course, it's no longer a landing pad because nothing lands with legs anymore. Apparently, they abandoned that idea.
Also, the fact that it literally isn't a landing pad at all anymore, that's where the new methane tanks are for the orbital launch site. So you couldn't even land there if you wanted to. So hope you didn't
Yeah,
have any
please
plans.
don't land on methane tanks. That
Oh,
would be
God.
bad. I think bad is a good
Suboptimal.
word for this. Yeah, suboptimal.
Yeah, I think in the industry, using technical terms, they call it a whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, I
So
think
yeah.
that's about right.
Oh boy. We Will Rocket You has gifted 1 Red Team membership to the community. Thank you so much, We Will Rocket You. We saw your name a few times in chat. Really appreciate that. Tech ran with a $5 super chat saying they thought it would take weeks for the concrete to set properly. Is that not true? And when are they installing this upside down shower head? So with concrete, there's a few milestones to look at here. My father's a civil engineer, so I kind of got a lot of experience from that. So concrete first hardens. It takes a few days to harden, and then you can begin to walk on it. No, hard traffic. You can't really drive on it yet. It's not very structurally sound, but you can do some basic work on it. Then a few weeks in, it cures. That's when it's hardened. It is basically fully hardened, and you can begin to do work on it. You can drill on it, install things on it, drive on it, things like that. So it's gotten to the point now where you can probably walk on it, do some basic work, but it's not to the point where you can begin to drill into it and start doing heavy work. So it's likely going to be a little while till we see them do work with this steel shower head. Again, maybe SpaceX doesn't really need to wait till it cures, doesn't really want to wait till it fully cures. We're going to need to wait a little bit to see exactly what their timeline is on installing the steel plate. They could just be moving it there right now just to store it, just to have it staged in place. So remember, I have to keep an eye out on that. Remember, Starbase Live, our 24/7 live stream, to see when they go ahead with installing that. Andrew Martin here with a $10 super chat saying, watching with their son, thanks for all the great coverage. Well, thank you, Andrew, and we hope you and your son are enjoying this kind of chill Friday night stream, watching some classic rollouts here down in Starbase. And thank you for the support, as always.
Yeah, sometimes I really like these chill streams because with the with static fires and with launches and everything, you always have these like moment you're watching for, and sometimes it's just cool to hang out and just talk Starbase for like an hour or two.
It's oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's just like a free way to just have a nice chat with people you like and just talk about rockets, because that's what we do here, right? We like to talk about rockets.
I definitely like talking about rockets, that is for sure. And yeah, you're right. I do like these kind of, more chilled, laid back streams. We're just watching, taking us back to our Texas tank watching days, just watching some chill rollouts down here in Boca Chica. Now, a lot of flashing, blinking lights there at the orbital launch pad, kind of losing sight of exactly what is where. But there is a transport jig and a steel plate in there somewhere. Again, that's for the Deluge system and the installation mechanism.
Let's get an update on the most important matter here, Ryan. Where are we on the plate surface? Did you spot them again?
I haven't seen them. I have a fear that I'm going to call them the bad boys with a Z. I have a fear that they have been sent home because I don't know. Okay, I'm going to come up with 2 theories here, right? Either the first theory is SpaceX management was watching Starbase Live, this stream, right? They're watching us because they love us, and they saw that there were people on the thing, and they're like, "Stop the SPMT! They're not allowed on there. Health and safety. Let's get them down." Or it was just like a weight imbalance or something. So either they were naughty or it was a weight imbalance. That's what I've got in my head right now. And they were walking behind, kind of looking a little bit sad initially, but I haven't seen them since. So. Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion they've either been told off and sent home, or it was a weight imbalance with the steel plate there. So health and safety at its finest. We live in the 21st century. You can never be more careful.
Yep, exactly. OSHA and all that is very, very important. It's not just like annoying rules. It's actually critical for safety and things like that. So you gotta be on the lookout and always be on your best behavior here. Speaking of the landing pad here, Kobe Brew is asking, will Starship in the future utilize a landing pad while the booster will still be catched? Adrian, any updates on that? What is Starship doing in terms of landing? Do we know?
Well, yes, we know. And if you think it would get it depends. of course, on Moon and Mars mission, it will need legs because there's no tower to catch it. But as you probably guessed from that answer, on Earth they want to catch it. So down the line, they want to also catch the ship with the tower. And yeah, I mean that's the situation. Catch it on Earth, and on Moon and Mars they probably need legs because there is no Mechazilla on Moon and Mars yet.
Jinx. But yeah, NASA will definitely want some landing legs on the HLS Starship, landing astronauts on the moon. Hopefully sometime later this decade. Hopefully sometime later this decade. Thanks for the question there, Kopi. Hef Williams here with a $10 Australian super chat saying they're interested to know how SpaceX will stop the upside-down showerhead from getting blocked with debris, dirt, and other foreign object debris. Do we know if it will be covered in any way? Ryan, do you know if it's really going to be able to be blocked up, and what SpaceX is going to try to do to mitigate that?
Well, covering the water deluge, the way the water deluge gets out, seems kind of counterintuitive for the water deluge system to work. There's two theories I have in my head. Either they're going to go around with like a fancy stick and unclog them every time, or it'll be some kind of like deployable system where the holes will they'll have little. It's kind of hard. I don't know how to describe this, but in your some of you in your sink in your bathroom or your kitchen, whatever, the plug hole may be covered with a little thing, right? And you can pop it up and down to get the water drain out. There might be like an industrial scale one of those in the water deluge plates around the way that the water can't. I don't know. That's just the theory I have in my head. So either they'll unclog it manually, or I think they'll have some kind of door system plug hole thing. I don't know what they're called. I'm sure they have some kind of name, but I don't know what they're called. The sink plug hole thing, but a bigger version of those. That's the best way I can describe it.
I think it's a good description of it. And yeah, we're looking right now at the orbital launch pad. Obviously, it's a 24/7 operation. Always busy down there. There's a lot of work happening down there right now. Again, refurbishment from the previous flight. There's quite a bit of damage, as well as getting ready for all these big upgrades, such as the steel plate. So it's going to be a very, very busy next few weeks down there. And of course, our 24/7 Starbase live stream will keep you always up to date as to what exactly is happening right now down in Boca Chica. Wendelin has a store message saying thank you to the NSF team for everything that you do. Well, thank you, Wendelin, for that kind message, and we hope you enjoy your hoodie. Thank you very much for the support on that end. And speaking of end, I think this will bring us to the end of our live stream tonight. So the new showerhead steel plate, as well as its transport / uprighting jig, whatever you kind of want to call it, both of those have arrived at the orbital launch site. They're pretty much certainly not going to be installed tonight, but of course, if anything does happen, you can check it out on our 24/7 Starbase live stream. We're going to send you right there, right after this stream, I do believe. But anyway, thank you everyone for hanging out with us. Thank you everyone for your support who super chatted, tips.nasaspaceflight.com, on our store, everyone who liked the video and became a member. Thank you very much to all your support. I've been your host for the night, Ian Atkinson. I am a writer, editor, live stream host, everything with NASA's spaceflight. Thank you for tuning in. Adrian, thank you as always for hosting. Now go try to get some sleep. I know you won't, but try, please.
Yeah, I think it's a nap, but I'm also, as soon as I wake up, I will have the pleasure to start scripting the next Starbase update, which is coming up in the beginning of next week. So stay tuned for that, because we like to bring you updates on what is happening in Starbase. So that's coming up as well.
I think I will stay tuned for that, Adrian. So best of luck on that. Hope you get some sleep. And Ryan, speaking of people who should probably be getting some sleep, thank you for tuning in. Or not tuning in, for helping co-host this stream.
Oh,
yeah.
Watching the boys.
Oh, are they there? Are they there? I can't see.
Nope.
No.
Oh, well, I hope they're okay.
I have a feeling my evening is going to, or should I say morning, is going to be ending in a much better fashion than theirs is. But yeah, always fun to hang out, even if it is at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh,
Some sacrifices have to be made.
I hear the boys are back in town in my head right now.
They might be back in Brownsville. You never know.
The boys are back in Brownsville. I love that. And of course, thank you to Kevin Michael Reed in the background, pushing the buttons, pulling the levers, doing all the cool things to keep the stream afloat and controlling the camera. So thank you as always, Kevin. You're really helping keep NSF afloat. And once again, thank you everyone for tuning in. We saw we had a few thousand people in here tonight watching the steel plate rollout. So hope you enjoyed chilling with us on a Friday night. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday night or Saturday morning, depending on where you are. Always have a safe weekend. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next stream. See you guys.
And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Rolling up. Roger, Atlantis.
Tango down to nominal.
Flight counter SPD off. Say again, SPD off. Off. It's orange!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage.
Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
The methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You dead? We don't need any more of these.